Hey y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to our live on the skills you would need for Africa. Yes. So income generating skills that you would need for Africa. One of the things that um, I think a lot of people overlook when they are coming to Africa is that when you shift location from one geographical location to the next, you you're going to have to retool yourself and get skills that are necessary to the environment. So it doesn't matter how much education you have, if you have a PhD, if you have a master's degree, unless you're actually bringing tools that are marketable to this environment, it's not going to be sustainable because, as discussed before, there there are there aren't enough jobs to support you, especially if you're accustomed to making a kind of living that you're accustomed to in the West. Entrepreneurship is a necessity. So what we're talking about is income generating skills. In addition to your education and the skills that you already have, you're going to have to look at what will make you marketable in this environment. Okay. So where I am now is where 2013. So 2013, that's about 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And I realized that my body does not process or tolerate stress very easily. I was working in an industry I've been working in since I was 19 years old, which is the business development side of the travel industry. And so in that side of the industry, there is a lot of travel and a lot of stress and a lot of budgeting and financing and planning involved. And after I got sick, I realized that I did not want to do that anymore. And I had been having a conversation with myself for many years, like, Renee, if this industry disappeared overnight, what would you do? How would you survive? How would you make a living? So even though while I was, I had my education and I had my career, I was still educating myself based on where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do, which was on the production side of media, not necessarily in front of the camera, but behind the camera. But I knew I wanted to work in this particular industry. And so I didn't want to go and take another bachelor's degree, a second or a third degree. And so I was retooling myself for a long time to give myself more opportunities outside of my specific industry. So if you're familiar with the travel industry, what happens in the travel industry is if there is a plane that falls out of the sky, it's my problem. If there is a war, it's my problem. If there is some kind of social upheaval with one of my clients in a country that one of my client accounts operates in, it's my problem. And I didn't want to have those kinds of problems anymore. I had no control over my life. I had no work-life balance. If somebody wanted to put you on a plane and ship you to England or Dubai or wherever, who were you to protest against that? You get yourself on a plane, you do what you have to do. You're to hell with you and your family. This is where we need you to be to do this particular project. So that industry is volatile, and it was not the kind of stress that I wanted in my life. So I was retooling myself, even though I was already educated, already had a career, already made some money. And then I was diagnosed with this brain tumor. And I was like, what? Where did this come from? And so I began to teach myself web development. And one of the reasons why I chose that is because I wanted to have a child, and I wanted to be an available and visible mother, and I wanted to be able to go anywhere in the world that I could get internet and work. So web development and mobile app deployment was something that I taught myself while I was sick, because I was not going to get out of that illness and go back to the kind of life that I was living. So income generating tools for Africa requires retooling. You're going to have to go back to school, and you're going to have to find the industries that are marketable and desirable on the continent. Now, when you look at the entire continent of Africa, you have 54 countries, and each of them have something unique to offer. However, there are certain industries that kind of go across the entire continent. One of them was gem trading. So for me, when I was thinking seriously, now I'm coming to Africa, I already have my web development skills. I can come here and deploy apps and make websites, and I could do everything, and I can edit short films and things like that. I still felt like I needed something else that would, that I could take across the entire continent, regardless of where the industry was on their scale level. So even in web development, if there is not reliable internet, that doesn't go anywhere too fast. Film editing, if you're not talking about like an industry or an environment where film is actually something that people, are doing or making films and they need an editor, then that's out. But gem trading was something that I could take anywhere on the continent, because this was something that was requested or needed everywhere across the continent. And so if you're looking to come to Africa, you're going to want to look at the continent, look at the things that interest you, and try to determine where in that you can fit in a lifestyle that you're looking for, and how to look at the lay of the land and see where you can actually do something there. So while you're still in the United States or in England or Canada or Germany or wherever you are, look at the opportunities that exist in Africa to say, okay, I know that graphite or graphene is something that is required to make all of the industrial equipment, and I'm going to go and study this particular thing. You need to put at least 1 year of training into yourself and get something that is translatable to the continent. Do not come here with your skills, and do not come here without any skills at all. I've seen people who have come with nothing, and sometimes it's enough and sometimes it's not, depending on what you're looking to do. If you're coming to join a mission, okay. If you're coming to join a church, okay. And you don't necessarily have to come with any marketable skills, and you're hoping that being a good, wholesome Christian is going to get you through, then okay, no problem with that. But for the rest of us who are looking to be more independent and try to command our own income, you are going to have to tool yourself. And I'm sorry, a lot of people don't want to hear this. You're going to have to go back to school in America. You're going to have to go into the industries that are translatable on this continent. Go and do some research, whether that's film, or whether that's web or web related, or something that will allow you to go into the position of teaching and working where you can command your own income. Because if you come with the tools that you have in the environment of the United States, it might not necessarily be translatable for you. If you're a teacher, what you need to do is find one of these websites that you can teach online, or you need to go and get your teaching English as a second language or teaching English as a foreign language certification before you get here. If you are a doctor or a medical practicing doctor, find out exactly what you need to practice medicine in Tanzania. Not because you're coming from the United States means that your credentials are automatically going to be transferable from the United States to Africa, because you, in your mind, you think you're coming to a third world country when you might not necessarily realize that there are credentials that you need for that skill. Okay. um if you are if you're in any particular industry that is a specialized industry, and outside of your industry or outside of the United States, that industry is not going to be relatable, by God, you need to go and get yourself some new tools. Hi, Jewel Sky. How are you, baby? Yes, you're going to have to go and get yourself some new tools. And so new tools, some people don't want to go back to school. Some people don't want to do some research, and they don't realize that when you make that transition of coming to Africa, that the things that you have to do is not necessarily, excuse me, the type of things that are going to bring income, or the type of things that are going to bring a substantial amount of income that will allow you to sustain yourself and your family. So retooling, getting an idea, doing some research into what is available here and how to intelligently use the internet to bring yourself an income that you can sustain yourself and your family here. Okay. So finding yourself in a position that you can actually command your salary, you can actually make the decisions for yourself that are useful to you and your family. Hi, Ahija, how are you? Asante, thank you. Yes, so we're talking about income generating skills that you need for Africa. So I touched on the gem trading. I touched on, some people think, okay, I can come here and I can make jewelry and I can sell online and blah, 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 blah. You have to think about the logistics as well. So in order to sell things online, you need two things. You need a pay gateway, and you need you also need a, a payment gateway, and you need shipping. You need proper shipping, a proper mail service that you're able to ship your goods out without difficult customs and issues like that. Okay. So when you do that, you're going to have to consider, does the infrastructure in the country that you're looking to move to, does it offer you those kinds of opportunities? And if it doesn't, and your movements are predicated on logistics of shipping things out of the country, then you really need to reconsider where it is that you're looking to go if that does not work for you, or you need to reconsider what makes sense for you, what makes sense of your business. Remember, any business that you're involved in is going to, of trade, is going to require either purchasing, storing, the logistics of transporting, getting it to the port or to the airport or to the facility that ships it, You know, you have to think of all of these working details that you take for granted in the United States. So in the United States, hey PT, in the United States, you know, if you start an online business, you can go down to the post office and put it in a box and give it to the clerk, and you ship it away for a reasonable shipping price, and it goes all over the United States to the 351 million people that live there. That is your opportunity. That's your market, right? So when you come here, they have, well, to Tanzania. I'm not sure about Ghana. I don't know about Nigeria. Probably they're in the same boat. If they're not, somebody correct me. But we don't even have addresses. Mailman, what's that? We go to the post office, you pick up your mail. I don't even know where the post office is in my entire area. If I'm trying to ship something out, I go all the way out to DHL. And if I'm trying to get something from DHL, I go and I pick it up, and it's probably a customs fee or something else, and something else to send something else. And, if you're making jewelry, for example, if you're making jewelry and you're saying that your clients are in America and you've come and you're going to make all this money because you're going to make jewelry here, and you're going to use the stones that are here and use the metals that are here. Tanzania has suffered really, really badly at the cost of metal trading and gem trading. And so they have stringent logistics in place that prevents you from using even copper to wind your gems together to ship them out, right? So if you don't have a license, and the license for gems and metals are completely different. So if you want a license for gem, you can get a license for gem. But if you're going to also get if you're also going to make jewelry, you need another license for using the metal. So even the copper off of the metal is going to cost you something. And I'm not saying it's not worth it, because if you're going to start a business, it's worth it to get the licenses that you need. I'm just telling you how it is. And I'm just giving you a heads up on all the things that you need to look out for when you come here. So if your thing is jewelry making, you're going to come and you're going to buy some gems and you're going to string them together with copper or whatever, you still need a license, and you still need to have all those documentation when you ship the thing out of the country, if you can. I don't know if DHL is going to take your precious stones. I don't know those details, but what I do know is there are specific things that require specific licenses in order to participate in that particular industry. And you must get those certifications and those documentation in order to execute trading properly. Next. So if you are looking to say, okay, I'm going to come to Africa, I have 15 years of experience, and I have a degree in administration and this, that, and the third, and you come here and you think you're going to find a job, I hate to break it to you, Google, but you're going to be extremely disappointed, because number one, there aren't enough jobs here to support the local economy, much less support you. And they would have to justify why they're giving you a job over an African. So you need to think about starting your business, and in that you might need to think about retooling your talents and your skills, and therefore looking at revenue generating skills that are here wherever it is that you're going. Look at where you're coming from. What do they need? Why don't you, while you're there, look at what your neighborhood is offering? Look at the opportunities that exist in the supermarkets. Look at the opportunities that exist in the restaurants or in the facilities. Make your networks, make your plans, get to know people. If you're thinking about going into import export, why don't you start looking for the clients now before you come here? And so that way you have a point of contact before you get on a plane, when you come here, you say, well, I'm going to start exporting sugar or whatever, or flour. I'm going to start this import export business. I already have clients. I know exactly what the United States requires for the food to pass the customs. I know what the FDA is looking for, what seals, what stamps they need. I know exactly what they need in order to get this stuff out of Africa and get it into this supermarket that I know so very well. So you're going to have to do some legwork. If you're a hustler, you can do that. You don't need any degree in buying, purchasing, or shipping logistics to be able to understand a market and navigate yourself in that market and how to produce in that market. You don't need anything, and there are lots of information available through the US Trade Office. I know years ago Barack Obama had signed I think it was an African trade policy that was looking to build up capacity with Africa. I believe in particular it was with West Africa. So go and do some research into that. Look at what is available right now. The African American market is ripe and ready for goods and commerce. Not right now, but it's been like this for, I would say, 10 years when I started out with my project. So the market has been ripe and ready for African goods, and now they are consuming and looking to acquire more and more opportunities and more goods and services that are coming out of the African continent. People are being more receptive to buying from Africa. People are more excited to buy from Africa. So depending on how you market your goods and services, you can definitely make a living doing what you find interesting or what you love the most. So we talked about the internet, we talked about looking at skills, and we're talking about now trade and commerce and some of the things that you need to be cognizant and aware of as you seek to get involved in trade. So I hope you have your pen and paper. You can listen to this message over and over and over again so that you have a point of reference that you can continue to go back and find this information. So start with the US Trade Office if you're looking at trading. Look at the industries, look at the infrastructure of where it is you're going. Maybe you're going to Rwanda. Maybe you're going to South Africa. Wherever it is that you're going to have to see what industry is dominating in that particular market and how do you fit in to that particular market. And so let's move on now to the creative industries. The creative industries, we're talking about writing, music, web development, all of this stuff in the creative industries that you're painting, all of this stuff that you can use as a vehicle to make a living by. Now, whereas the internet is necessary for some parts of the creative industry, it is not necessarily an absolute. So when it comes to painting, Jojo, what is that? Why? Remember, stay in your bed and go to sleep. Polisana. Hello, Mommy UK. How are you? Jojo is here giving problems, Mama. Yes. So creative industries might not necessarily be entirely predicated on the internet. However, it is a necessary tool. Case in point, in 2018, I wrote a book. Okay, I wrote a book. It's on Amazon. It's on my website. It's available for purchase. It's available for it's available to anyone everywhere. Okay? I wrote the book. The book is out there. It's sitting there. It is its own vehicle for revenue, right? And that's what you want. So this is 2018, 2019, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. That is 4 years ago. Okay? So if I make $25 or $20 or $19 on a call or a book, or or talking to someone in regards to the book or selling, that is revenue that no matter where I am on this entire continent or in the universe, that I am able to generate. Okay? So if you have something inside of you, don't wait until you get here to figure it out. Okay? You should know these things already. You should have these things that you can say, okay, bet I have a book in me. I have 3 books in me. I'm going to write my book. Maybe your execution isn't now, okay? Because it took me, I wrote the book 2018, 2019, 2020. It took me 3 years from the time of writing the book and putting it out there to being in a place that I could actually benefit from that book. Okay? Where the book is actually a tool of income for me. All right. So back to the creative industries. In this day and age, well, if you're in my industry now, that how I make a living through not just web development, but also film editing, in that world, you need the internet because people are going to need to send you their files, send you their documents, send you their information that they need to do. Okay. That took me, I've been editing films and small microdocs since 2010. This is the year 2021. That is 11 years. Okay. So it's very easy for people to see and say and think that these things happen overnight. They don't. It's very easy for people to judge and say, well, she got this money from da 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 da. No, I got most of what I have from working really, really, really hard and staying up late at night and doing what was required of me to do because of the life that I wanted to live. I knew I wanted to be an available and visible parent, not just visible, but available. Underline that word. I knew I wanted a child. So most of these things that I was doing before I even had JoJo. The preparedness for JoJo took me at least 5 years, physically, financially, and emotionally, that even to the point when I became pregnant, if I did not feel like I was in a safe environment, I was able to step out and take care of myself for my child and take care of my child properly. So she's now 6 years old. So I'm telling you about something that I did 11 years ago to prepare myself to be able to support my child. Okay. So web development is one. Film editing. Why is there a piece of bread in my couch? Jojo, why are you eating bread in the sofa? Yes. So looking at what is available on the African continent is one thing. So don't rush yourself. Don't push yourself. Don't try to keep up with anybody else. Don't try to compete with anybody else. Don't try to be like anybody else, because you don't know how long or how deep a fight they have been in to be better than only themselves. So you might be competing with somebody who is only competing with themselves, right? And that's a very difficult person to compete with, a person who does not even see competition on the left or on the right, who is in their own lane, okay? So look at what is available to you? What do you see? And do not come here and do everything that everybody else is doing. And I've seen that a lot. I've seen where people are like, oh, well, they're doing this over there and that works and that seems to get them the attention that they need. So I'm going to go ahead and do that too. Right? And you might not know the preparedness of what goes into that. Okay? So let's go back again. So I knew that I wanted also to, having marketable tools and marketable skills, not necessarily just internet based. Okay. In 2003, what I used to do for myself every year when I got my little money or my tax return or my savings, I always went and I took a course. I took a course in whatever tools or whatever new tools that I saw was available to me. I loved real estate. People said, oh, Renee, you're great at sales. Why don't you get into real estate? I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to live on commissions. Blah, blah, blah. I'll never do that. And I indulged myself and I went to Gold Coast Real Estate School in Miami when I was living in Miami at the time. And I took their real estate course and I took their mortgage broker's course. Okay. And what that prepared me to do was to understand real estate law, to understand financial law, to understand the rules that govern property and property ownership. And that helped me significantly as I navigated not just Tanzania, but also throughout the world. Okay, it helped me in Dubai with off-plan business development. It helped me tremendously. So these are some of the things that you have to do. So investing in yourself is one thing. Going and learning a course or going to say, okay, I'm gonna go get some information. I'm gonna get some training in what I need to do. That's one thing. The other is looking at what the market demands are. Okay, and what is it that interests you? The other thing, so that was real estate and mortgage broker. So I'm a licensed mortgage broker from the state of Florida. I think my license is probably lapsed by now because I haven't kept up with it. And I have a real estate license. And so understanding those, so being here, coming here and seeing things and understanding what is available to me, I knew how to read contracts, write contracts, prepared contracts, and put things together and understand my position and my rights or my non-rights or whatever. So again, invest in yourself, understanding the environment that you're looking to get into and how to refresh and retool yourself. So you have, in this same person here, you have a real estate broker, you have a mortgage broker, you have an author, you have a web developer. And I haven't even gotten into the things that I do professionally and an editor. Okay. But you cannot, the one thing I know is you cannot have the same skills at 40 that you would have at 20. You are going to have to expand yourself. You're going to have to increase your income, increase your revenue, increase your goals, increase your objectives. You need to make enough money. Okay. Yeah, you're going to have to make enough money to, give me 1 second. I might freeze up on you. Make enough money to sustain yourself and your family. We're not just talking about money just for you, okay? Or this is enough money that I can take care of myself on, okay? That is not enough money. What you need is, let me see, enough money. Let me see, add to contacts, new contacts. What is her name? Ugh. Give me 1 second. Jackson just asked for something. I have to send it to him right now. Okay, Jackson. Pole sana. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right. Pole. Okay, so thank you so much for sticking that out with me. I had to send Jackson a message. Um, so yeah, this journey doesn't begin, it didn't start last year when you saw me getting on a plane and coming to Africa and getting the Exodus house and doing this. That's not where this journey started. Okay, we can go further back. We can go all the way back. We can go a lot deeper into project management and all of these other things. And we can talk about construction. We can talk about all of the things. But I took the courses, I spent the money. I spent the money on my intellectual capacity so that I was able to create the person that I wanted to meet. I wanted to meet somebody who made some goddamn sense. And I could never really find anybody around me who made any sense. So I had to go and create that person so that I can have something in my intellectual capacity to contribute. Okay. But this is the key. When you go and retool yourself in a way that you will have the abilities to also teach. It is not enough that you know something and you know something well and it can make you money. But if you don't know it well enough to teach and educate someone else, it is not enough for Africa. Okay? If you cannot show someone else how to replicate your success, how to benefit from your success, it makes no goddamn sense. You know why? Because it's not enough to come here and be able to feed yourself and you can eat and great and my life is fabulous and I'm fantastic. That's not enough. You also have to be improving lives around you. You have to be educating people around you. You have to be teaching people around you because guess what? One day you're not going to be as strong and you're going to need the people around you to be able to step in and say, I can do that. I know how to do this. And that goes for whatever it is that you find yourself into. You need to know the industry. You need to know your business. You need to know your skills. You need to know the trade. You need to know everything about your industry inside and outside enough. Okay. Oh, I just got a message while I was doing the live. Yeah. Um, yes. I think Mama is saying that I need to talk about more about seniors, right? Because seniors, there isn't enough out there for them. So anyway, you have to know your industry well enough to teach your industry, to teach your business, to teach your tools and your skills, even at the very lowest level. You have to look at your business and say, at the very minimum, I can teach somebody how to do X. Okay, I would like to connect with I would like to this at the very lowest part of my industry. I can teach someone how to do this. I can show someone how to do this. A chain is as strong as its weakest link. So as you come here and you start to build a company, or you start to build a business, or you start to expand into other opportunities or things like that, you alone is not going to be able to cut it. You're going to have to invest the same way how you invest in someone. You're going to have to, in yourself, you're going to have to invest in someone. Now, this doesn't always say that it's going to work that way all the time. This doesn't mean that the people that you're investing in aren't going to disappoint you, fail you, um, not be able to take the training, and there is a lot of that here, not just in Tanzania, but you have to think that you're coming to a third world country. You're coming to a place that does not have the same exposure and opportunities and wealth and creation and comprehension as where you're coming from. So you might be coming with some serious skill set and say, I'm gonna bust it out. I'm gonna come and I'm gonna take these skills and I'm gonna blow it up and I'm gonna teach people how to be master diamond cutters and they're gonna be fantastic at what they do. And you're gonna think about all of the great stuff, but you're going to encounter something that I encountered. United Nations Global E-commerce had invited me to do a paper on this. It's called readiness. Readiness is where developing countries do not yet have the infrastructure or the comprehension to either receive or act upon the opportunities that are presented to them. And this readiness is not necessarily this readiness isn't necessarily like, it's not a people, it's an individuality. So despite a country being educated or people being educated in that group or subset, you have to also comprehend that they're coming from a world where they're not as exposed as you are, that they don't see the things you see, that they don't know the things you know. And so when you come and you try to start explaining it to them, they can't see it, they can't get it. You can't even train them to do this or to that, and you will get discouraged and you will get disappointed. But it's not going to be you. It's not you, it's the environment. You're going to have to think on these things, that there are countries where, a scarcity and a poverty mentality overrides anything that you can possibly teach, teach and develop in people who have been exposed to long-term poverty. You might be a dreamer. You might be somebody who is a visionary. You might be able to see things 10 years from now. You might be able to say to somebody, hey, look, don't worry about that. That's going to be past, that's just a basic hurdle that you're going through right now. And they will not get it. They won't get it because they cannot see past the next step. Okay, they only see the step today, which is, I don't have money, I need to put food in my mouth. And that's all they can think about when you're saying, look, if you do this, this will be better for you in 5 years. Ain't got nobody not got no 5 years. 5 years to do what? 5 years? Nah. You can't tell them, you can't tell people who have been exposed to long-term poverty to look towards the future. Some people are just happy that they're alive today. And how do you circumvent that? How do you circumnavigate that? You probably have to work with people who have a little bit more exposure, or people who have a little bit more education, so that they are able to receive and accept the things that you bring to the table, right? Hey, DC, how are you, mama? Yes, blessings to you, my friend. right? So those are some of the things that we have, in the comment section. I put all the information for any Cash App, PayPal, whatever it is people would like to make a deposit to. But this is what I'm talking about, is taking advantage, full advantage of all that is available to you in this day and age. Okay, so you might not necessarily, you might not even think that you have anything to offer. Okay, if you feel like you don't have anything to offer, you can go and get yourself some tools that you can offer, some skills that you can offer. One of the things that I want to do here is the beekeeping. I've been talking about that because bees don't need no education. They don't need you to have no degree. They don't need you to be able to speak English. They just want you to take care of them. And if you take care of the bees can take care of you. So, I studied beekeeping, and I have a beekeeping certificate, the master beekeepers from one of these universities that they can train you and teach you. So even if it's something that you know how to do, even if you have the talent or the skill, you want to have something that at least certifies to say you know what you're doing. Okay, and I know a lot of people are coming here, they can do hair, they can do some hair in Africa. Okay, this is where the hair gets done. So don't necessarily market or bank on the hair care to say, okay, I'm gonna go to Africa and I'm gonna do hair. But if you have a product, a service, or if you can develop, I don't know if it's up yet, but there is a trade show that happens every year at the Javits Center in New York called Circle of Sisters, and that is a good place to go and meet people, suppliers and buyers and trade show people. It's the largest, I think, African American trade show in the Northeast. Okay, I don't know. I didn't look at this year, but I used to go every year, because it's an opportunity to meet trade people. It's an opportunity to see how things are done. If you're thinking of coming to Africa, you have an opportunity to either bring goods from African American producers into Africa, or you have an opportunity to bring from Africa into the United States. So look at the trade shows. I think Bronner Brothers also in Atlanta is another huge one. I've never been, but it's fantastic. It's the Bronner Brothers hair show. It's a trade show and a hair show event in one. There are just a fantastic amount of things that you can tap into while you are still either in the United States or France or wherever it is that you are, that you can look around and see what is there and what is it that I can bring. Do not leave it all for white folk to do it. Don't, because, unfortunately, we as a people, we have fallen into the gap of complaining. We like to complain about all the other groups, and all the other groups are minding their business. We like to complain about the Chinese and the Koreans in our neighborhood, and they're doing business. Meanwhile, we have not set up a business. We did not go and negotiate the rent for that store. We did not try to organize ourselves or throw susu to see if we can collect our money as a group and go and open a store with like 3 or 4 other people. Meanwhile, those Oriental folks and those Asian folks are, right? And so what gives us the moral high ground to judge, to say negative things, to try to undermine them and their success? Meanwhile, we are failing at family. We are trying to throw our sisters and our cousins out. We're trying to put this one out on the side of the road because their baby cried too much. We're trying to do all of these other things that tear down the family unit rather than organize ourselves as a group to form our businesses, to put ourselves in a different position. So who are we to actually sit there and judge other people, for opening stores, for generating income, for taking that money and supporting themselves and supporting their families. Because the truth be told, if some of us do even have the opportunity to support our community or start business in our community, that money doesn't necessarily circulate back into the community as it should either. So don't watch them. Don't watch your competition. Watch you. Don't see nobody else and try to pick the time that you're going to take and pick over everybody else. That is lost time that you need to stay and focus on you. So don't see nobody, don't let none of this stuff get into your head. Just focus on you. Go to your chamber of commerce. I was a member of the African American Chamber of Commerce um, in my state. Are you a member of the African Chamber of Commerce in your state? Are you making the connections that you need to make for your logistics and trading opportunities? Are you making the connections that you need to make in order to move yourself and move your business forward, or to move your industry, or to move something forward? I mean, when you come to this continent, you're not just coming as yourself. You are coming as an ambassador, okay? When you go somewhere and you're the only English speaking American person in a whole entire room filled with people, people are expecting you to have something to say, something to offer, some kind of direction, some kind of support, something that you can lend or use to grow that environment, that community. And you come here with nothing. Come on, baby. You can't do that. You're an ambassador. Wherever you show up, you are the representative of your entire race. You are the representative of your entire people. You need to have something to say. You need to have something to show. You need to have something that can put people in a better position than where they are. And it doesn't matter if you have a sack of money or if you don't. But if you have some skills and if you have some connections, that can easily translate into a sack of money, right? So you need to look at what is out there, what is available, what are the connections that you need to make, the people that you need to know, the things that you need to know that are relevant to the community, the things that are relevant to the continent, the things that are relevant to your lifestyle, right? And if you're a single mom, your lifestyle might be the thing that leads everything else. The other day someone asked me, one of the guests that was here asked me, they said, well, Renee, how do you plan on doing all of this stuff? Or how could you do all this stuff? Well, my number one priority is I'm a mother. I'm a mother first. And after I finish mothering in the morning, I do this. I use my schedule. I use this, I do this, I do this, I do this, and I'm done mothering by this time so I can be visible and available to be someone else's mother, someone's mother. So for me, if it interrupts my ability to be a visible and available mommy, I want it. I'm not going to take my time and stress myself out and put myself in a position where I am over promising and under delivering and not compensating in the right places with the right people that I need to do. My child was planned 5 years before she was even born, and I'm not going to allow anyone or anything to disrupt that flow of motherhood, right? So you're going to have to really take those things into consideration. What kind of lifestyle do you want to live? I will not allow myself in the position where the tail is wagging the dog. I'm not going to let that happen. So I know exactly how to structure my schedule, and I can do it all from one place. And if I can't do it on the internet or can't do it where it's taking too much of the time that I need, then I don't necessarily need it, right? And you also have to put yourself in that mind frame as well. You might not necessarily need drama in your life. I know I don't, and I can't afford it. I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. I can't afford that kind of drama. When whatever illness is going on out there, my immunity, my threshold, my stress brings my immunity down to the dust. And whatever is floating around in the atmosphere, if my stress levels are too high, there is a likelihood I will catch it. And that's why I am at a point now where I hold no punches and I take no prisoners. I am not in the position to tolerate foolishness. I am not going to uproot my child from the United States, get rid of all of my stuff. I'm not going to take a plane and come all the way to Africa to allow anyone to put me through stress and drama and misery and confusion. I draw the line. I do not subscribe to any abuse cultures. I have zero tolerances for anything that is going to take me down a notch. So if you think that you're going to put me in that position, I will walk away and I'll step away before I allow you to take me there, because it is all tied to my health. My mental health and my physical health are one. And you have to think about those things for yourself as well. Don't let anybody come into your life and crap all over you, or anything that you're doing to stress you out to the level where you feel that you're so lowered down on the threshold. Okay? So think about those things. How were you able to balance your life? How were you able to uh, live the kind of life that you want to live? Not the kind of life that people think you should be living, the kind of life that you want to live. And where does the skills that you're looking to acquire, how does that fit into there? Okay, you might be somebody who loves maybe aerodynamics, I don't know, or aeronauticals, maybe, right? But if that takes you away from home and your goal is to be a good husband or a good wife, you can't be no husband or no good wife if you're on a plane somewhere all the time, right? And I'm laughing. I'm laughing because this is a conversation that I actually had with myself. I can't be no good nothing for nobody if I'm all, yeah, no, I don't need that no more, baby. I know a lot. That's a glamorous thing for a lot of people, and a great, well, I did it and I had my fun, but it's not necessarily the kind of lifestyle that I was looking for. I was looking for more stability and more time at home, and so I had to work and obtain the skills and acquire the knowledge that puts me in a position in which I am able to live a better quality of life wherever and however I chose. And that's what I want for you as well. Look for how you can live a better quality of life wherever in the world that you end up. I went through a lot of things with you tonight. I talked about writing a book. I talked about learning how to build websites and deploy mobile apps. I talked about editing films. I talked about real estate. I talked about all of these things. And in order to put myself in the position that I'm able to do more, not just for myself, but do more for others. And that is going to come up on you when you come to Africa. I mean, I'm not in the position at the moment where I can, support other people financially outside of my employees and outside of, the people that I immediately, work with. But I can teach someone how to fish. I can show you how to do something that you can make a living from. I can put you in that position that you are in a better place than before you met me. Now, if you don't accept or you can't grasp what I'm teaching you, or you don't believe me, or you don't understand, or something else, I am not a counselor or therapist. And so there's things that you are going to find that are outside of your abilities. And when you encounter the things that are outside of your abilities, you have to have sense enough to move on, move on, move on to those who can understand, who can appreciate, who can, what do you call it, who can receive what it is that you're bringing, right? So don't get caught too much on, well, I tried to do this and I tried to do that. There, for every one person who rejects or doesn't understand you, remember there are 1,000 people behind them who are willing to receive and accept everything that you have to offer, right? So let me just go ahead and put the Cash App here. Somebody sent me a message asking about the Cash App. Um, it's actually the first comment on the page, but I didn't put the PayPal. All right, so let me go ahead and do that. So I am now on for 1 hour, and let me see. Let me open it up for any questions. See if anybody has any questions out there for me. Let's see. So retooling, reskilling yourself in order to bring new tools to the African continent, and how you can educate and inform others and guide them and show them how to achieve or how to accomplish their goals, or how to at least use the tools and the skills that you brought so that they can make a living from that as well, right? So don't be thinking too much um, about anything that doesn't serve you and others. Okay, look carefully for those types of skills, those types of experiences, things that serve you and others. Look for what is available. Look around you. Look at the supermarkets. Look at the means of trade. Look at the opportunities. Look at what else is out there. Look at what you can offer. Look at everything. You know, go into your African market or your Caribbean market or something, and make contacts, make contacts with the people who are there buying. Go to the market, go to the, I think, like in New York, it was the Bronx Terminal Market. I think it's now Hunts Point. They've moved everything out of the Terminal Market and into Hunts Point. Go down there, make connections with the importers, with the distributors, with those people, to so you can see what you can import, what do they need, what do people buy, to see what you can supply them with. Look around you. So when you come to the continent, you have something that you can send back. You have something, you have a connection, you have a phone number that you can call. Look at that. Look at also large industries of scale that exist where you're looking to go, and how you can tap into those larger industries of scale. And if what you need to do is do a course, a short course, by all means, that's what you need to do. Invest in yourself, take some time, put some money on yourself, um, and up your skills year after year. Any year that you are not learning or you're not improving your skill is a wasted year. You cannot just sit there and have the same job and the same education and the same everything as you started out in 10 years ago. Okay? Always look for ways of improving yourself, because if you come to this African continent and have your 25-year or your 30 years of experience of doing one single job, you know, and you're tired and you have all of, you still don't have enough skill to teach, and even if you invest in someone's business, we call that in technology dumb money. We want smart money. We want money that is connected to people who have invested in themselves and have skills and connections that they can help us to move us along. We don't want just dumb money. We don't want money just because it's money. I know I don't. And I know I've refused a lot of money that was not tied to an actual investor who had connections and who could get me to where I needed to go. Okay. And you have to put yourself in that position as well, to either reject or accept anything that does not necessarily serve you. It might serve a temporary, what do you call it? A temporary goal, but it's not necessarily what you really need, right? So that's some of the stuff I got for you. Anybody got any questions? Thank you, Has. Anybody got any questions before I go? Any questions? Any questions? Going once, going twice? Excuse me. Okay, so I think y'all got it. I think we've been talking for what, an hour and 7 minutes. So read the comment section, look in the description box, and you will see all the information about the things that I talked about. I do consultations. You can always send me an email at exodusafrica1@gmail.com. Let me put that in here. Let's see it. And I do consultations for business development. And let's see, that's in here. And also, I'm going to give you the website. We're still running the raffle. That's also in the description box. For reservations, you can go ahead and, let me see. Okay, and none of these links work here in this comment. It will not work like you can just click it. It's not going to work like that. Let me see. Yeah, these are not hyperlinks. They don't come up as hyperlinks. Okay. So if you have any questions for me, go ahead and send me an email. If you'd like to make a reservation, that is the website. Yeah, and I am going to go now. It's what, 11:18, and I've been on for an hour and 7 minutes. I hope you found this information useful, helpful, and valuable to you. Please go ahead and let me know. I put all the information in here. So for those of you who'd like to donate, send a few coins, it's all in here. Okay, just look in the comment section. All right, love y'all. Thank you so much for watching.